All right, and we are live. Just decided to start raining heavily. There's a thunderstorm. You'll probably hear that throughout the stream. But yeah, I'm not gonna let that stop me. I am gonna go grab my coffee though and take off the headphones so that I can stop monitoring. So give me a second while I do that. All right, let me just try sort out the audio levels here so that the music is not taking over, as well as just try to filter out as much of the background noise as I possibly can in this thunderstorm that I have right now. So yeah, welcome to the live stream. We haven't done this in a very long time. You can see we are in a slightly different setup right now. Been moving locations, in a new place now, settling in, and still building up the studio. So we got that going. So you are going to be seeing a couple of changes here and there in the next couple of weeks, maybe even months, as we do this show. But anyway, as you have clicked here, you probably want to chat about ChatGPT and Midjourney version 5. It's been a crazy week, right? But before we get into that, let me just give you a quick intro. If you're new here, if you haven't been here before, welcome to Design Streaming Sessions, hosted by me, Farma Henry, and this is a place where we talk about design trends, what's happening in the design world, and we live stream both podcasts and some sort of more live streaming content where we share stuff and things like that. Today, we're gonna go with a much more podcast type of a format, so that we can publish it on both platforms. We haven't done that in a while. So yeah, I want to take that opportunity to record the podcast as well as just talk about the crazy things that have been happening over the past couple of weeks. Not necessarily in the design world, but I think in the world of the internet, or in the world as we see the world, in the technology world rather, right? There's so much stuff that has been happening, and yeah, most of it is really attributed to AI, artificial intelligence. Now, if you've been following this channel, you'll know that I've been talking about UX designers and companies alike that, you know, we really need to start playing and honing our skills within AI, within voice interactions, within, you know, different ways that people can interact with products, right? And I think when I was talking about GPT 3, well, GPT 3 just in general, right, not ChatGPT, about what you call it, about 2.5 years ago, I didn't think that, you know, 2 years later we will be talking about actual real products that people are using in the world, that you can actually use, right? Things that product designers and companies have came up with and applied this AI, right? So yeah, it's very fast moving and it's getting more powerful and powerful by the day, right? And with ChatGPT 4, there's been a lot of vibe, there's been a lot of conversation around, you know, would this really become a replacement of designers, developers, architects, lawyers, whatever it is, right? I mean, the language model, if you don't know what we're talking about here, this is an AI language model, which is basically you can conversate with, right? And it can answer anything. It can play a role of being a lawyer. You can feed it in information, and it can use that information as a precursor to answer the questions that you're gonna be asking it. So super interesting stuff. But let's get to the topic, right? That we actually want to talk about today. What does this mean for the future of UX design? You'll see me keep on looking this side because I'm trying to monitor the stream as well as just making sure if the health is fine and if we're getting any comments. And as soon as you start sending comments through, I will be monitoring them. So feel free to send comments through so that I can answer them as I go throughout the session. So, what does these advancements in AI mean to us, to the future of UX design? Will automation actually replace the human designers, human beings in certain roles and things like that? Again, I hope that the rain is not terrible in the background, and the audio is nice and balanced. So yeah, if you're listening, please just let me know. Say audio is okay or whatever it is. I'll be super grateful to just get you guys, help me balance things out a little bit here. But anyway, let me not get distracted with the audio and the rain. So back to ChatGPT 4, right? So what does this mean for what have we seen? What have we seen being automated, right? So we've seen mainly text-based jobs or roles being automated. So things like copywriting, things like strategic planning and thinking, right? A lot of critical thinking, a lot of detailed work, a lot of analysis type of work. We can see that being automated, but I don't think this is totally replacing people altogether, right? And I think this is actually something that's super exciting, right? At least for me, right? I don't know, other people might find this very intimidating, but I feel like the time that I started to learn how to make websites in the in the late 2000s, right? And I feel so empowered with these tools that this is something that we can really use, right? Like I remember having Adobe Creative Suite when I was younger, when it was released, right? And I had so much power to be able to interact with my ideas and putting things into life, right? So that is exactly the same excitement that I have now, right? And it's super exciting that as designers, especially if you are a UX designer, right, and you are tasked with things like research, you are tasked with things like copywriting, you're tasked with things like analysis of data and things like that. It's super exciting to be in this space right now, because what AI does is that it actually really fast tracks the way that we work, the way that we think. Coming up with idea generation is a little bit faster and things like that, right? And it's important for us to keep on putting new information out there in the world, because this is how AI learns, right? This is how we actually develop the AI. So a lot of people will be like, oh, everybody will be lazy and not put out things out there. People are creating new content that is part AI generated, part human being generated, to accelerate what they put out there. And this keeps on creating new perspectives and views and tones of language and things like that the model can work on, right? But let me get back to speaking about the advantages of this, right? So over the past 2 weeks, over the past 3 weeks, I've been really trying to use AI as part of my normal workflow, right? So the biggest thing that I've been using is Notion. And what you can have in Notion, of course, you can try it out. There's a subscription of about $10 US dollars. And what you can get in Notion is that you can get an assistant basically to help you script out things, write blog posts, just improve your writing, right? Change tones and voices of your copy and things like that. And it's so much more efficient for me to be able to respond to emails, come up with you know um, copy for projects and websites that I'm working on, etc., right? So it's just so super efficient. And we've seen now Microsoft and Google which have been in a very quite interesting race, right? They've been in a crazy race of trying to get to implementing this, right? I mean, Microsoft tried the big Bing chat thing. Google tried to implement it with their own version of some sort of a web search assistant, if you can call it that. But I think over the past week we've seen really two big moves coming from Google and Microsoft embedding AI in their office tools, if you can say that. So with Microsoft, you have in Word, in your Teams, in your Outlook, etc., right? And with Google, you have it in your Sheets, in your email, etc., And what this does is that it helps people analyze tons of data, tons of documents without even opening them, right? You can just ask the AI to scan through the documents that have been sent in the attachments to figure out what are the outcomes and things like that. And what this does is that it just makes everybody superhuman, right? And this is such an exciting time to be alive, because the opportunity is that, for example, myself, I'm a terrible copywriter, right? And when it comes to UI design and layout design, copywriting is some of the most important things that anyone could do. Obviously, I won't be perfect, not me and the AI, right? But we will get to a place that is close enough to be able to start testing ideas out there with actual copy, without sort of like dummy lorsum ipsum text placeholder, right? So that's super important, that you get those type of things, those type of advantages, those type of new skills that you wouldn't think that you could indulge into, right? Even if you want to get into analyzing data, you can put in the input, whether it's documentation or whatever it is, market research. It's really easy for you to get to the surface of things quickly, create action points out of them, and implement it into your everyday world, right? And that's one part of it, right? Another exciting part about this whole AI thing is that we have a whole different dimension now that we can use to create products, right? I'm sure we're gonna start seeing a lot of products that just have ask AI to make your budget for you, ask AI to create a fitness app for you, which is not really useful, right? And we've seen a lot of those already, and we've seen them starting to come. And there's a lot of ways that you can get access to the API keys and build a no-code solution that you can get into the world. We've seen some very successful ones as well. I'm forgetting what the name is, but there's an AI app that turns you into a superhero cartoonized version of yourself, and everyone has been using it. It's a $10 million business, right? And it's been out for a few months, right? So there's so many opportunities on what this can be used as a use case, right? Think about accessibility, think about interacting with this in a voice way, etc., which is some of the things that are exciting about ChatGPT 4, or rather just GPT-4, which is that it now getting into a place where they understand images and voice input, right? Um, in the demo, they showed a guy. The guy was given the demo, basically drew in his notebook, took a photo of a website layout that he drew in his notebook, and ChatGPT basically built a simple HTML and CSS interface that this thing could be tested on. So think about that in a case of rapid prototyping and testing things with users, right? You no longer have to necessarily just have your design just based in Figma, right? If you can upload your Figma file into ChatGPT, into GPT-4, and it can spit out CSS and HTML code that a user can basically click through and try out your product. That is way more closer than you would do with just a Figma file with links and things like that, which is a very super exciting stuff. So this is me just going, I'm not even looking at my script anymore. This is just me going, and I'm just going off on a tangent here, but yeah, interesting to just have all this new way of thinking about abilities of how to build new products, as well as how do we improve the way that we build products with more efficiency and speed and things like that. So when it comes to market research, product research, whatever it is, it's way more faster. You put in the question in there and the thing gives you the answers, right? So going back to the main topic of discussion today, right? So whether automation will replace the human designer as we get into the future of UX design, this topic is very complex and quite controversial depending on how you look at it. Some people would talk about losing their jobs. Some people would talk about just how a lot of mundane jobs will be replaced by this. And we've seen technology do this in many ways. I live in Africa, in South Africa to be specific, and when we started seeing automated shopping kiosks in shops, in your McDonald's and things like that, right? We started seeing a lot of unions of people actually protesting against these things, right? That they're taking cashiers' jobs and things like that. And yeah, you will have that as human beings evolve and get into a different space, different way of doing things. But I think what's important is that we evolve with these products and these technologies, right? And on this channel, we always talk about building a career, right? And how you can stay on top of the game. And I think really, and this is me sort of like playing like a broken record, right? I think it's really important that we progress, right, with the technology and whatever is needed around us, right? So let's use this technology to develop new products to solve the problems that we have within our communities and within the opportunities that we see in the markets that we live in, that serve us, that we serve, right? So yeah, it is quite a controversial one, but I think for me it is quite more exciting rather than it is controversial, or rather it is something that we should be fearing, right? So let's go back to talking about a little bit more of the exciting stuff and maybe some other examples that that excited me over the past week that I want to talk about. So we've seen, I've spoke about examples where you can put in input for research purposes, etc., etc. I think some of the things that I've started being really interested in doing, and I've been trying to decipher and do as a UX designer, right? Obviously I started with trying to put in market research in there and trying to figure out if I can get some output and how we can address and come up with specific, products within that marketplace, right? And spilled out a couple of ideas, and I picked one and got into further detail as to how would we approach building that app, and what are the things that we need, what kind of research do we need to do, etc, etc. So if you look at just your normal UX design process, from research, understanding, design, ideation, all of that stuff, that stuff is pretty much covered, and something that can be done with a team of 4 to 5, maybe even 8 people, could easily be done with one individual now, which is something that is super interesting and something that is super exciting for me, right? As a person who usually works in smaller teams, without ease of access to some of the best copywriters in the world, etc, etc, right? So if you look at that process, it has been covered with GPT-3 for quite a long time now. But what's really exciting is the next thing that you can do, such as generating layouts, right? Examples of layouts. So I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with ChatGPT and the interface. You've probably seen an interface with some text and things like that. But there is also different versions of these AI language models that people are building out there, and ChatGPT is actually just one of them, right? There are other ones, and there are also image AI generating models that you will find there. So the biggest one is called Midjourney, and people have been using it to create illustrations, just creating images, photorealistic images, which have been giving really good results. And now they've released a new version of Midjourney, which is Midjourney version 5, and that has got the ability to even give you high fidelity images. And what I've seen a lot of UX designers do on Discord with Midjourney, if you don't know about Midjourney, you can only access it via Discord. Just look up Midjourney, you will click on it, create a Discord account if you don't have it already, and off you go. You can start prompting it with descriptions of pictures, and it can generate these images for you. So super exciting time to be alive, super exciting time to be able to ideate with a co-pilot. That is Microsoft's term. Don't sue me, please. But basically, you have a something that helps you ideate ideas, come up with basically building ideas and things like that. So super exciting time to be alive. Let's get back to the conversation of actually, will this automate the future of the designer as you know it? I think so far you've heard what my take is there, but I just want to go back to my notes so that we cover the rest of the content that we have for the discussion today, right? So I've covered the fact that this is quite a complex topic and quite a controversial one, and we've seen some real life changes, protests even, in certain cases that these tools have brought, right? But then there's so much more that we can benefit from when it comes to the creation of design tools, right? That can not automate what we do but give us more efficiency, right? I think as human beings we should always be at the center of we should always be in the driving seat, right? When we are, whether using AI, whatever it is, it's not 100%. It's really good, but it's not 100%. You will have to correct it. You will see defects in the images and things like that, right? So it's super important that you are in the driving seat and you are driving. I don't know if we'll ever get to a point where this AI is good enough for that we don't need to be in the driver's seat anymore. uh, Talking about AI and driver's seat, Tesla just went into my mind, and we've seen how long that experiment has been happening, and there's so much precaution there because it's real life, immediate consequences, like a car crashing into a person and killing them, right? But I think it's also the same thing with the digital version of AI, that if we just spill out whatever AI generates and we put it out there, I think there is an opportunity for error, and maybe even putting inaccurate information that might put you or the people that you're working with or you're serving, doing this for, in danger. But again, I think the super benefit in automating the UX design process, the wireframing, the prototyping, just coming up with ideas, and human beings will always bring a certain level of creativity, a certain level of empathy, a certain level of understanding, because you are in the real world and you are actually understanding the issues, the situations that are happening around you as they change. These models, they're not updated in real time, right? So you can only apply the thinking of what you're trying to solve as part of this. Let me look at if we have any comments as I sip my coffee. I kind of forgot about it as I've been just blabbering around this. Okay, so the audio sounds, looks like it's perfect. Let me know in the chat section what you guys think about the applications and things that you can be doing with this. Maybe if you've been playing around with the tools already, what are some of the things that you've been doing in a UX design context? Of course, I'm guessing the people that I hear are is some shape or form interested in UX design. And yeah, if this is your first time hearing about ChatGPT, GPT-4, Midjourney, and all of these crazy image generators and things like that, also do let me know in the comment section below. All right. So let's proceed with the conversation. Again, also, if you're listening to this in the podcast version, yeah, I think there are ways of interacting with us now on Spotify, on Apple Music. I don't know where else this is broadcasted on. I think there's Google Podcasts or something like that. But yeah, if there's a way to interact with us there, whether it's just by rating, leaving a comment, yeah, it will be hugely appreciated if you're listening to this in the podcast form. And if you're watching this after the fact, yeah, feel free to interact with us within the comments section. We are always interested in speaking with people, helping build this community, and helping each other figure things out within this UX design journey that we are in. Cool. So yeah, I think there is still a level of solution thinking and creativity and responsiveness that you wouldn't get from AIs, even if they were to automate everything, right? And that will still always put human beings at the center stage of coming up with new ideas and how we can use this tool that we now have in our toolbox, right? But yeah, it is unlikely, right, that automation will completely replace human designers, at least in the near future, right? And yeah, like I've said, there is so much more ability to interpret and understand human behavior and emotions. That is a very critical part of UX design. that will still need to be able to have and address, right? And UX design is consistently evolving, right? It's a field that requires us designers to stay up to date with these things, with the trends, the technologies, right? And be able to adapt these things quickly, right? So, like I was asking if you've used some of these things, I've started formulating some ideas around how to use um, AI, right? ChatGPT within some of the products that I have, and I've started having some very interesting conversations actually with some of the developers that I work with, and yeah, it's just really amazing to um, to have the AI conversation with the developers that you work with. So yeah, let me know if you've had real AI conversations with developers that you work with, and what kind of company do you work in. It will be super interesting to know how those conversations are going for you. For me, yeah, I would say that they're going currently, and yeah, it will be super interesting to see how you know um, what's actually possible, what is imaginative at the at the moment, and what other things that we can actually ship as I would say not early adopters, but as sort of the general population of product designers out there that are adopting the this world of AI, right? Um, so there are, I think, as much as I say that the AI is here to help us, I think there are definitely some jobs that um, are in trouble, right? Say that they're in trouble or not. It depends who has access to the AI or not, or who knows about it, or who has the intention of using it, right? So I think copywriting is a big place where it's in the middle of hot and cold. If you're a copywriter, this could be a good time for you, because you can really improve the speed of your service. You can really improve your writing and be able to churn out a little bit more work than you could when you were just writing on your own, for example. But if you look on the flip side of that, there's so many people who are not copywriters now that the barrier is low for them to actually get into copywriting and offer this as a service to the market, which then becomes competition to you, right? And also, if users just start getting copywriting tools in design tools like Figma, etc., then this means that the use of copywriters is only then reserved for really niche special cases and people with really big budgets, and that is something that I think there are jobs that are being really affected, and depending on where you are in the market right now, I think it's really important for you to be able to think about how you can apply your knowledge and skills into applying this AI and helping yourself build a product around it that people can use it rather than have the human interaction with you, rather, and always leave that option for people if they want to have a human interaction with you. That way you have best of both worlds. People can interact with your app, or people can interact with you directly, right? Let me conclude this. I want to make this one short today. I'm probably a little bit choppy because I haven't live streamed in a very long time. While automation may play a very big role in the future, and it is definitely currently right now, right? I think, yes, it is very unlikely that it will completely replace human designers, not anytime soon. And when it comes to design work, yeah, I think most of the steps, like I've mentioned, the research, the ideation, and things like that, it's really optimized and made a little bit faster, but I think that there is still human elements that still need to come in there to give the input of what are you actually solving for, what are the things that you're trying to build, etc., etc., right? And I think this is super important because the human element is something that we'll always need, right? In everything that we build. And I think as designers, this is a great opportunity, this is a great time for us to be able to develop our skills, stay ahead of the time. Um, I mean, optimize our workflows and be able to have this co-founder, core person who's helping us through each task that we have. I've been using a couple of tools, Notion, which is one of the biggest one. I've tried out ChatGPT directly. I've tried Midjourney. Let me know what tools you are playing around with within the AI space. I'll be super interested to know that. And in the next live stream, I actually want to get into some examples, look at what apps are out there, maybe play around with some of them, sit on the computer and have a look at some of these things that are actually being put out there. We have recently relaunched our LinkedIn community, and I am inviting you to join us there only if you are super interested in carrying on conversations like we are having today, and if you are interested in having more exclusive conversations where we have panels and we can get into more deep dive with experts that know this stuff better than me. Most of the time I'm just talking from excitement and the things that I'm learning, I'm passing them out there to you so that you can learn from them as well. And I think that is the essence and the spirit of the community. And if that sounds like something that you're interested in, you should see the links below. If you're on LinkedIn, already great. If you're not on LinkedIn, I don't know if you want to create an account and sign up. But yeah, super excited about the new community. We killed the old one because we're just not getting the traction with the right people that we wanted in there. That's why it's super important for us to have really high quality people who actually want to have a discussion and learn from other people or share what they are learning as well. So again, friendly invite to come over to LinkedIn, check out our page, check out our group, or interact with me directly. Farima Henry, I think you'll see my name somewhere in the description as well. But this was the first live stream in a very long time, and thank you so much for joining. I see that we've had quite a good turn up of people today. I wish that we could see a little bit more people in the chat section. Let me know if you would like these sessions to be a little bit longer as we go into the next coming weeks. We are planning to be live streaming every week from now on, maybe a little bit more than once, right? This is mainly a live streaming channel. So you will find long form content here. So if you just want to listen to this while you're working in the background, we've got some other very interesting topics that I have covered in the previous episodes around UX design, career design, UX design, career paths, and how you can get ahead, and some of the things that have helped me in my journey to get to where I am today. So thank you so much for being part of this one, and until the next one, peace.